Hi, I'm Pechstein with Move Into Action, and thank you for joining me for your Maintenance Think Drink. Today what I'm going to do is cover a life management overview, because life management is a complex topic and it's not something that I can cover in just a few minutes right here, right now. So for the sake of letting you know about this, I'm going to tell you that if you would like more of the life management and stress management coaching and training, I do have a full training available at moveintoaction.com. It is through the school that I founded called SOLMA. SOLMA stands for the School of Life Management Academy. Now, SOLMA 101 is your foundational life and stress management course. That is the one I would recommend if it is something that you feel that you would really like to get a full life management foundation, a solid foundation for you to stand on, so that as we go through this, you understand more and you'll have that extra knowledge, the complexities of life management in your mind already. So as we go through it, you'll understand them. Now, I have 17 books or 17 videos, and there are 2 different books in there that you can download as part of that package of SOLMA 101. If it's something that you'd like to check out, hop on over to moveintoaction.com, look for SOLMA, and the course that you're specifically looking for that foundation is SOLMA 101. Now, you do not have to take it, but I just wanted to let you know as part of a life management overview, I'm not going to go through all of that here right now. So if that's something you want, certainly you have access to it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, because that school is an online school and it never closes. And I have all of that there if you'd like it. But for the sake of this video, of this year, right now, for those of you who are new and are coming in, I need to get you up to speed because we've got so much that we're going to cover. And I want to give you the 3 most important life management and stress management things that I think you need right now so that this will make sense to you and that you can get up and running quickly. So the 3 things are what we're going to cover right here and right now. Grab a pen and paper because I want you to take some notes. I've got some questions for you. And as you take your think drink, which is nothing more than getting your favorite coffee, tea, smoothie, beverage, whatever it is, sit down with that, take some time, in the amount of time it takes you to have that drink, to answer these questions and to work through them so that you can stay maintained. Because life management is not something that you're going to do once and forget about. These are tools that you're going to use consistently all of the time to help you stay well managed and help you have less stress so that you can maximize where it is you're using your time, your energy, and your resources. So the 3 things I want you to know about right here are these. MYOPAQ. You're like, it sounds like code for something. What is that? Well, MYOPAQ is something our mothers actually taught us about long, long ago. And it stands for mind your own P's and Q's. We get so caught up in living other people's lives or trying to make decisions for them. Sometimes we say, well, they won't do the right thing, or, well, they'll just never make a decision. They just don't know what they want to do. That's okay. It's their life. We need to let go and let them live it. Sometimes we're holding on to things and trying to do things for all these other people that are not ours to do. Those people need to step up to the plate and they need to start managing their lives. They need to manage their time well. They need to manage their resources properly. They need to manage their time and energy. It's not for us to do those things. And you say, well, if I don't do it, what'll happen to them? What if they do the wrong thing? Well, they'll learn from something that we like to call the School of Hard Knocks. It's not fun, but it does teach some very valuable lessons. How many of you have learned from the School of Hard Knocks? I know I've learned from it many times. And while not fun, I've learned a lot, and I know you have too. So that's one of those times when we have to look at what we're doing for other people. Are we minding our own P's and Q's, or are we involved in other people's P's and Q's? Well, really, we don't need to be involved, because what happens when you're involved in somebody else's P's and Q's like that is you're enabling them to continue to slack off or to not do things or to not make decisions that they need to step up to the plate and make. So we enable them to do that. The other thing it does is then it impedes us from living the life that we want around our priorities, because we don't have enough time, energy, or resources then for the things that we need to be doing, because we're expending it on other people. Well, we need to stop. How do we stop? We create boundaries, which is the second point that I'm going to cover with you right now, because it's one of the most important things. So the first thing, again, mind your own P's and Q's. Write that down, okay? The second thing are boundaries. We have to have boundaries in place so that we can mind our own P's and Q's. Now, the boundaries help us in several different ways, and I'm going to touch on them quickly. The first way that boundaries help us is they help us with the meddling person. The person that wants to manage our lives for us, that wants us to spend our time, energy, and resources in ways that they feel are appropriate, but they may not be appropriate for us. They may not be appropriate for what it is that we stand for, what we believe, how we truly want to live our lives, what we value, and how we decide that we're going to use our time, energy, and resources. It may be vastly different. It probably is. So we need to have boundaries to where we spend less time with those people who try to manage our lives. We also want to have boundaries that say, I'm not going to have those types of conversations when this person's around because they'll try to solve my problems for me. I just want to talk about what's going on in my life, but it doesn't mean I want you to solve my problems. When you're dealing with a person like that, and one of the courses that I'm going to offer this year, Solma 201, is dealing with difficult people. You may have a difficult person in your life that wants to manage everything for you. And you have to create a boundary to where they don't hear about those types of things going on in your life. Or if they do, you just have to tell them in a nice, polite way, is that that's not an area that I need for you to help me manage. I don't need your assistance with this area of my life because this is an area that I have to decide what my priorities are, and I'm going to set my goals, and I'm going to determine where I'm going to set my time, energy, and resources in this area. So sometimes we have to set boundaries that keep people out of our lives. It's like having a protective buffer, and that's good for us. The other type of protective buffer when we have boundaries is that we will have people that will influence us, and they want us to go off in different directions. We want you to do this. We want you to come with us and do that. We want you to participate in this. But you've said, those are things I do not wish to be associated with. Those are things I do not wish to give a stronghold in my life. Those are things that are not good for me. Those are things I choose to abstain from. And we need to be able to set boundaries to where we don't have to get involved in that. We say, this is not a part of what my priorities are. This is not part of what I believe my life is about. This is something that I let go of a long time ago. This is something I do not want to have an influence in my life or in the life of my family, to have an influence upon my children. We need to have boundaries then that protect us from that. So when you have boundaries to protect what's in here, things that you need to be controlling, things that you have said are important or are a danger to you or something that you need to stay away from. And so you need to protect that. Now, the other thing that boundaries will do is they will help you determine what you need to say yes and no to, because without having proper boundaries, sometimes we're going to say yes to things that we shouldn't and no to things that, we probably should have. And so the boundaries will help us do that. And how that helps us is it brings us to the next point. The third thing I want you to know right now are the priorities and filters. In order to say yes and no to things, you have to know what your priorities are. If you don't know what your priorities are, it's like not knowing what your goals are. Where are you headed? Without a map, you don't know. You have no idea. So the book that I wrote, Every Successful Journey Begins with a Map, that's the workbook that goes along with Solma 101. That's one of the books that you get to download. It's a workbook, actually, and it takes you through many of those things. It helps you identify your priorities and spell them out. And this is what I want you to think about. What do my priorities look like? In the 9 life areas that you see right here, what do my priorities look like? What kind of filters do I need in my life to help protect those priorities? Because filters help to keep the sludge out. You have a pool. You got to have filters to keep the nasty stuff out of the water, right? Well, we got to have that in our lives. Otherwise, our lives get filthy. They get bogged down. We get confused. We get stressed. Everything starts falling apart. Pretty soon, we got a mess. So we've got to have those filters in place to protect our priorities. You've got boundaries, but you also have to have filters, because filters help us implement some of those boundaries. You might get asked by somebody, hey, we got this great thing going on, and we think you're just that perfect person. We got to have you. Please, 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 please. You can't say no. And so they really want you to be involved in a project where there's some entertainment thing coming up, and everybody wants you to go. Here's something, the first filter I'm going to teach you about. It's called the 24-hour rule. You never say yes or no without 24 hours to think about it. And it's not just thinking about it. You might tell that to somebody, I just need 24 hours. I'll let you know in 24 hours. Don't say yes or no, because you'll get caught up and you'll likely say yes to something you should not have, or you'll say no to something that you could have done. What you do with that 24 hours, it gives you time to go home and you consult your spouse, you consult your family, you look at your calendar, you look at your time, you look at your energy, and you look at your resources. One resource would be money. So you need to look at those areas, those resources, and then put them, and then run the activity through your mission statement. Run it through your list of priorities and say, does this line up with my priorities? Is it going to allow enough time for my relationships, or is it going to strain them? Would this be a priority? And when you run it through the different priorities of the 9 different life areas, if it doesn't fit in, or you are just so tapped out and you already looked at your calendar and you know, no, we can't do this. We're already booked. We can't fit this in. It's going to put a strain on our relationship because we're involved in something else. Then you know to say no to it. If you find it does fit in and it's a good thing and it glorifies or it honors the priorities that you have set, that you said that you want these to be priorities, if it doesn't conflict with those, it might be something that you want to say yes to. And so then you go to that person and you say, okay, yeah, I checked everything out. I think it's going to be fine. Yes, I'll go ahead and commit to it. Or yeah, we'll be there. But if it doesn't, then you want to go to that person and you want to say, I'm sorry. I checked our schedule and stuff, and it's not going to be something that we can do. And you get quiet. Most of us don't like to get quiet. We want to keep offering explanations. Don't do it. There is not the time or the place to do it, because as I talk about in the full life management training, is that when you do that, you open the door up for somebody else to come in and try to solve your problem. They think your problem is that you can't do what they want you to do. So they're going to try to solve your problem to get it to a point where you can't say no, and then you're locked into doing what it is they want you to do. There's an agenda there. And sometimes people get manipulated because they say, oh, well, I know how you could do that. Or, well, I think you should be doing it this way, and you'll feel guilty. And then they've manipulated you in a way. They may not know that they're manipulating you, but there are people who are masters of manipulation who do not even know that they're masters of manipulation, but that's what's taking place. And they end up manipulating you into saying yes, and it turns out to be a catastrophe. It puts strain on you. Then you're under so much stress, and it snowballs in your life. The snowball effect is another thing that we cover in the full shebang over at moveintoaction.com and Solma 101. I don't have time to go over those today, but for today, I've given you the 3 things, okay? So for your Think Drink Challenge, now, I want you to schedule some time. It can be 30 minutes, but I want you to either go someplace to have your Think Drink, or I want you to have a quiet 30 minutes at home for your Think Drink. Set aside 30 minutes, fix your favorite beverage. It could be a cup of coffee, it could be a smoothie, it could be a cup of tea. It doesn't matter to me what it is. Fix your favorite drink, your Think Drink, and I want you to sit down and think about these questions, all right? So here is your challenge. 1, are you minding your own P's and Q's? 2, do others try to manage your P's and Q's for you? Then, after you've done those 2 questions, I want you to look at this. I want you to answer this question. What boundaries do you need to create because of that? Because you're trying to manage somebody's P's and Q's and things that you shouldn't be, you need to stop doing that. You need to create a boundary that says that is not my issue. It's not my life. Or where others are trying to manage yours, you need to create another boundary and say, this is not where you belong. This is mine, and I've got it. You raised me well, okay? Or my mother raised me well. I'm capable of doing this, and I will do it. Okay, which leads us to this. Do you need to establish priorities to use as filters to better use your time, your energy, and your resources? What kind of priorities have you set? What kind of filters are you using so that you can use your time, energy, and resources better? Do you know what your priorities are enough? And are you using filters? How would using the 24-hour rule help you? Think about that and answer that question. Would it help you? In what scenarios could you see it helping you based on your past experiences? And then, and most importantly, because you only get out of this what you put into it, okay? I'm serious. You will only get out of it what you put into it. So discuss in the community forum. Go to moveintoaction.wildapricot.org and look for the forums, for the Think Drink. That's what this is. This is your Think Drink Challenge. Look for the forum for the Think Drink Challenge. And then I want you to participate in the discussions. How has this helped you? Has this raised any other questions? If it has, submit the question, because I have set office hours where I will be in those forums live, and I'm going to answer those questions for a Q&A session. So those office hours are times when I'm going to choose, and I'll let you know when they are, you'll see it in there, that I will answer some of those questions. I am also going to be looking for your aha moments, or the moments when the light bulb goes on and goes, I never thought of that, I didn't know, but I've done this. And I want to know, what are your success stories? How is this working for you? What challenges do you have, and how is this helping you? Because the more we share with each other, the more we learn from each other. And that in itself is a very useful life and stress management tool that you have access to. So don't forget to be involved. You need to set aside the time to do this, because this is part of your life management maintenance. And if you don't stay maintained, things will spiral out of control very quickly, okay? All right, so this is your Think Drink video. I will post a new video every single week for the first 4 weeks of the month. You'll have access to them. The next one will be up next Monday. So I will see you guys then. In the meantime, I'm going to look for you in the forum. Okay? Have a great day.